Sage CRM allows you to easily create recurring appointments. This feature can be useful for internal company meetings and functions, as well as those you might schedule with customers. In this tutorial, we'll take a look at how to set up recurring appointments, so let's jump right in and get started. For our example, let's suppose that our sales team has a group meeting every Tuesday at 9 a.m. So let's set this up as a recurring appointment by going to the Calendar tab in My CRM. Here we're looking at a month view, and we'll select Tuesday, September 21st as the starting date for our recurring appointment. And for the start time, let's click 9 a.m. and the new appointment entry screen opens. Since these meetings will be of an internal nature, we'll leave the fields in the top panel blank. In the details box, we'll enter Direct Sales Team Meeting. Next, we'll add the users that will be attending this meeting. In addition to Susan May, our logged-in user, we want Brian Little, and we'll click Add, and John Finch, and click Add, and finally, Wayne Parcells, and click Add. Now we're ready to set up the recurring schedule for this weekly sales meeting. To do this, we'll hit the Recurrence button. Starting with the recurrence pattern, let's look at our three options. If we select Daily, it defaults to 1 day, which would set the appointment every day on our calendar from the start to the end date. If we want to skip a day, then we would set it to 2 or higher. You can also set the pattern to include every weekday, and this might be useful if, for example, you are planning to attend a week-long conference. Now let's jump down to monthly. Here you have the option to set the appointment to recur on a specific day of each month. You can also set it to skip months by entering a number greater than 1. Alternatively, you can choose the week of the month and the day of the week, and again, you can set it to recur every month or skip 1 or more months. Returning to our example, we'll select Weekly, and we want Tuesday, which is the default selection since we had selected this date earlier on the appointment screen. Now let's move down to Daily Pattern. In most cases, you'll likely use the Occurs Once At option. This option creates just one appointment for each date that is set up in the selected recurrence pattern. If you select the Occurs Every option, then multiple appointments would be created on each date in your recurrence pattern. So returning to our example, we want our sales team meeting to occur only once per recurrence date, and again, the start and end times have defaulted from what we originally entered on the appointment screen. Let's change the end time to 10 a.m., and we'll see that it updates the appointment after the appointment is saved. And finally, we'll move down to duration. Here we'll set the start and end date for the recurring pattern of appointments, and again, the start date defaulted from the appointment settings. Let's make the end date for this series to be the end of the current year, so we'll go ahead and select December 31st. And now we'll hit Continue, and note that the recurrence schedule is now displayed on the appointment screen. And finally, by clicking Save, the appointments will now appear on the user's calendar, which in this case belongs to Susan May. Let's switch to the month view. And as we hover over the appointment icons, you can see that they've been correctly set for every Tuesday at 9 to 10 a.m. Let's now change the user to Brian Little. And as expected, the recurring appointment appears on the other users' calendars as well. Now we'll advance ahead to the end of the year, and then on to January, and you can see that the appointments do stop at the year's end as intended. Now let's look at how to edit recurring appointments. We'll go back to December, and let's suppose that we're going to cancel the meeting on December 14th. To do this, we'll click to open the appointment, and we'll change the status to Canceled. Now we'll hit Save, and an important dialog box opens. We're given the choice of canceling just this specific appointment, all appointments, or this and future ones. Importantly, if you make the wrong selection here, you could end up canceling all of the appointments, so make sure you carefully consider your selection. In this case, we only want to cancel the appointment on this specific date, so we'll leave the default selection and click OK. And here you can see that only the appointment on the 14th was canceled. And that completes our tutorial. So to recap, use the recurrence feature to easily set up your recurring meetings and appointments. Give us a call for assistance with this or any other feature in your Sage CRM system. Well, that's it for this tutorial. Bye for now.